Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back. Today I have a message for you guys in time for the new year kicking around the corner, for all of us who are setting new goals, ambitions, all that great stuff. Today, what I really want to share with you guys is one of the biggest life lessons I have ever learnt in my own life, and why a major reason for why I do the work that I do. And so I want to dive into that with you guys today. So this is for you if you are somebody who really wants to make sure that you're creating the kind of future that you actually want, right? One that is created authentically from a place of inspiration, as opposed to, trying to mold yourself to potentially get something from your external world. Or what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is ultimately how, when we do not do the work on ourselves, how we unintentionally really create wounds, not only for ourselves, but also for our loved ones, the people closest to us, and all around the shop with everything that we do. If we're not attuned to our own wounding, and we don't have processes in terms of how to actually, heal our wounds and get beyond them, because all of us have wounds, right? As human beings, we collect them, whether they are intentionally bestowed upon us or unintentionally bestowed upon us. We just collect these wounds throughout our existence and our experiences. And what we don't realize is that when left unchecked and we haven't healed our wounds, what ends up actually happening is that basically we end up creating a life that we feel is totally different to, say, the perceived wounds that we've created, but ends up actually, resurfacing and re-energizing the same old pattern that we thought we may have escaped. And in actual fact, we are deceiving ourselves, right? We think we're doing something better. We think we've overcome the wound, but basically we're just recreating it, albeit on the external, with these different behaviors and different ways of being, seeming almost opposing and completely opposite to our past. But actually, unbeknownst to us at the time, we're actually no better off, and we're not creating any situations that are better than our past. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. It's going to make a hell of a lot more sense when I put some kind of examples into the mix with you guys today. But today's message, and I'd love for you guys to play along at home, drop me some comments, let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. If you have any questions or comments or words of wisdom that you want to share as I dive into this message for you guys today, I'd love to hear from you, and as usual, get to connect with you guys. So make sure you're playing along at home, and if you do find this message of value, please do share it. Oh, and I forgot to actually put it there, but I created a free guide for you guys, all on up-leveling your self-belief to get you in the right mindset, the right state of being within, so that you can make sure that 2021 is much better than 2020. Shouldn't be hard, but let's see how we go. All right, so I will drop a link after today's message, and you'll be able to download that free gift that I wanted to give to you guys. But today's message is, if you do not heal your past, you will wound their future. All right, now what I'm really going to unpack for you guys today in terms of who's there, right? Who are them? Who are they, right? Basically what I want to unpack with you guys today is ultimately how our good intentioned ways of being that we perceive are going against the wounding that we've experienced in the past can ultimately be recreating similar wounding for those people closest to us, and we may even be deceiving ourselves in terms of, we actually definitely are deceiving ourselves in terms of how we're not recreating the wounds of the past and we're beyond them. And this pattern happens when we haven't healed our own past, and instead what we do, which is a major human characteristic, is instead of changing what's going on within, right, healing the wounds of the past, what we try and do is we try and recreate a future devoid of what we perceived was missing or what hurt us or what was wounding of us. We try and recreate a future and create something in the external world, perceiving that that will heal us from our wounds, but ultimately it doesn't, and we get caught in this trap of recreating wounds for the people that are closest to us and that we love and that we ultimately intended not to, but we end up doing because we project our own experience onto the world around us. So I'm going to use some examples in this one. In particular, I'm going to be talking about the wounding generationally, right? When we do not heal our wounds, we end up passing them on unintentionally to the generations to come. That's what I'm going to focus on with you guys today and see if you can see this and feel this, all right? But basically, how I want to just articulate this before I put in that working example of a lot of people that I deal with, particularly who are looking to create a family. That's what I want to focus on with you guys today. But in other words, if we do not heal our past, we will attempt to create a future that outwardly in the external world appears to fulfill on our perceived voids from the past, right? Whatever we felt was missing from our past, but ultimately will be no better, as what we'll be doing is continuing the cycle of fear-driven pain whilst we deceive ourselves into believing it to be love-driven pleasure. All right, now let me put the example in so that's going to make a hell of a lot more sense. A major one is this. I have dealt with a lot of men in my personal life and in my professional working life who have struggled particularly with their relationship with their father. And what happens is I've seen this is what happens in the extremes, right? So I'll just work, I'm not going to name names here. I'm just going to use this amazing example to articulate what the point for today's message is. But basically, let's give this, this first man, right, had a very challenging relationship with his father. And his father actually, kind of left their family for dead. Right? Kind of took off, left, this man and, at the time a boy, with his siblings and mother, to really just struggle financially, right? They had nothing. The mum had to work multiple jobs to survive. This now boy at the time had to kind of step up into, a leadership position, an adult position, and kind of become like the man of the family at a very, very young age. And what happened was he never developed a great relationship with his father because his father left them for dead from his perception, right? Never gave them any financial support, ran off and got remarried and just left this family for dead, right? And so basically this boy, who's now the man that we're talking about, basically what he had to do was he made a decision. He said, you know what, my family is never, ever, ever going to have to struggle the way that I did because I had a father who took off, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that I am the ultimate provider for my family so they never have to worry about anything. Okay? And so can you see the perceived void from this man was that his father ran off, never provided financially, which created a lot of chaos for the family and made them, kind of very burdened by security and financial concerns and all the rest of it. And what that boy at the time decided to do was, I was going to be the opposite to what my father was, right? And so that actually ended up serving this particular man very well. He knew that in order for him to make it to college, to get a great job, he needed to make sure that he was the dux of the school, right? He needed to make sure that he was top of the class in order to get through to college because he needed a full scholarship. All right, so you can see how the father running away, right, created this perceived void of we're not taken care of financially, we don't have the opportunities. So he decided, I'm never going to let that happen again. And the positive notes were that he worked really hard. He led himself into he got a full scholarship. He was the Dux of the school, got a full scholarship to college. He got a brilliant career out of it, which ultimately allowed him to create the kind of future that he perceived was missing, right? That his father never gave him, right? And he created what he perceived was the ultimate, which was never will my children ever have to worry about anything financially, okay? So the perceived void, the lack of finances, he went the opposite extreme and totally created a life where he fully provided for his children and his family. Now, what happened was that this man had a son. And this particular son, his perceived void in that childhood was, everything's provided for me financially, but I don't feel like I have any emotional support. In fact, I feel terrified of my father, right? I feel terrified of him. Like I'm walking on eggshells, like I'm terrified about, upsetting him or like how he's going to handle something, or maybe he gets angry or whatever. And so I want to make sure, so based on that experience, he never felt this, the son of this man, who provided fully for his family because of his perceived voids, and he never healed his relationship with his father, ultimately created, the fulfillment that he didn't have as a child. But there was another opposing, challenge that happened. And he created wounds for his son because he didn't show up emotionally. He didn't show up and build an emotional connection with his son. And so what did this son do? This son decided, I'm never going to be like my father. And in fact, what I'm going to do, it doesn't matter so much about the money as it does about the emotional connection, the time that we spend, right? And so what he did was he tried to be the opposite to his father, just like his father had done for his father, right? And basically, what he ultimately ended up doing was creating, having children of his own, but now burdening those children with his fulfillment, all right? Because now what has happened in this relationship is, I never had that connection with my father. So I'm going to make sure that I have that connection with my children. And because he didn't heal the relationship with his father, what he's done now is burdened unintentionally and definitely blindly and unconsciously, but he's pretty much put the burden of responsibility of his fulfillment onto his children. Okay, and so he thinks that he is rewriting the past, right? I never had the emotional connection with my father, so I'm going to have a really connected relationship with my children. Unknowingly, because he hasn't healed his wounds from the past and his relationship with his father, he's actually projecting that relationship onto his children, and those children are now burdened with the responsibility of their father's fulfillment. If my dad doesn't feel happy or connected to me, then that's my responsibility to make sure that he is, right? Because he's not taking responsibility for his own fulfillment. He's putting it in the hands of his children. If I have a connected relationship with my children, then I will be fulfilled. Okay? Now, I don't know the repercussions moving forward from that right now, right? That's the story as it sits today. Okay, so you can see how, and I don't know the story of the father of the first man, right? I don't know I don't know what happened there, but generationally we pass on our wounding when we do not take responsibility, when we do not heal our own wounds within. What we try and do is we try and recreate the opposite of what we experienced, hoping that is going to be what solves it all, right? But what we don't realize is that one extreme swapped for an opposite extreme is still two extremes that create wounds. There's still no balance. We're still out of balance. We're just gone from one extreme to the other rather than centered in our balance, which is ultimately love, right? And so basically, this is all of the work that I do. My job in this world that I've put upon myself, or what I'm most inspired to dedicate my heartbeats to, is helping people heal their past so that they don't recreate the wounds for the people that they love the most around them, and keep that cycle going generationally. I want to stop that cycle. I want to help people have the tools to heal themselves from their past so that they can show up in everything that they do in life, whether that's in their relationships, whether that's in their career path, how they want to contribute in this world. I want them to be able to show up from a place of authentic inspiration, which can only be accessed when you've healed yourself, when you've done the work within yourself. And all else is just what our human condition is to try and create something out here that will mitigate all the pain that we experience within here. All right. And so we're all well-intentioned as human beings, but this is what perpetuates the cycle of pain and wounding in our external world, right? And if we want to be the ones to stop that in the generational cycle within our families or beyond, what we need to do is we need to take responsibility for healing our own past. And from that place, what happens is we start to create a future that is authentically in line to what authentically inspires us, right? Instead of the projection of unhealed wounds onto those that we love the most unintentionally, but perpetuating the cycle of pain and wounding. And this is why I always talk about the fact that I believe the purpose of relationship should be to heal wounds rather than to gather them. And most people in our relationships are gathering wounds because we're using our relationships externally to us to fulfill the voids that only we can truly fulfill from within by healing ourselves. And we can't just skip over that work. So I am not somebody who likes to stay stuck in the past, right? I'm somebody who likes to empower myself and others in ways that we can go back, but we can recreate, we can heal the past, we can move beyond it. Because if we do not have tools and processes to go back in time to heal the wounds, what happens is they become like anchors, constantly holding us back. We try and take a step forward, we've got an anchor holding us back. It's like we're just skipping on the spot, right? And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're not skipping on the spot, staying stuck in the past, unable to access our potential. And what we do when we skip on the spot is actually create a hell of a lot more pain for other people around us, because it's almost like we're trying to grab onto other people to unhook us from the anchors of our past, right? And we're saying, hey, I'll do this for you if you do this for me, right? I'll be fulfilled if you just fulfill me, right? And it's this very needy way of going about creating in the world, as opposed to the realization, that we are stuck because of our own anchors to the past that we are in the power seat of cutting the ties to. But we have to take that responsibility. We have to take back the burden of responsibility from the people closest to us. And we have to, utilize the tools and the processes necessary to cut ties with the past in a really healthy way so that we're free to create a future that's in total alignment with what authentically inspires us, so that we can make sure that all the connections that we have, if you're like the men that I articulated the story of today, if you're a man or a woman, right? But let's just stay in this story. If what happens is, the son, say, of this second son, if he decides, I'm going to empower myself, if he builds his level of consciousness and awakens to the responsibility of healing himself, what he can do is stop the generational creation and perpetuation of wounding. And what he can do is ultimately, put himself in a position where he heals his past so that when he chooses to have a family, he can make sure that he's not burdening those children with his unhealed wounds, but instead allowing space for this other individual that he'll bring into the world to ultimately reach their authentic potential, you know, and not have the weight and the heaviness of the generational wounds that keep getting passed on cycle after cycle. Somebody has to be in that position to break the pattern, and it may as well be you. All right, like, it's your responsibility. And honestly, there is nothing more inspiring to me than helping people heal from the past, right? Take back the empowerment of their own life and access the freedom that comes with that to actually create what they want, rather than perpetuate the cycle of pain, all unknown to them, because they think that they're doing the opposite. And they are. They're doing the opposite of what was done to them, but they're not understanding the underlying, the opposing behavior, they're just still handballing the wounding from the past and their own wounding. They're not healing that, all right? So if you do want help and support with that, in this free guide that I just created for you guys, if you haven't downloaded it yet, it was in my last post. I'll put a link on this video once I finish, because I totally forgot. But if you go through that guide, it's all on the 7 proven steps to maximize your self-belief, which is ultimately the foundational piece to you creating, like, moving forward and healing from your past, right? You have to have belief in you accessing your highest potential, in who you are as a human being. Otherwise, you won't have any fuel to do the work that's necessary to access your potential, right? So in the end of that guide, at the back of it, I've put a link there for those of you who are really committed to this. I'm offering a free 30-minute self-empowerment session with me, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to work with you one-on-one to make sure that you're breaking free of your past patterns, your past wounds, and setting you on the journey to start 2021 in the best way possible. All right. So for those of you who want access to the guide, read the guide, get a ton of value from it. And then for those of you who want to go next level, I'm offering that free session for you guys. All right. So I'll drop a link, or check out my last post on my page right now. You can do and get your free 7 proven steps to maximizing your self-belief. All right, so that was my message for you. I definitely want to check in with you guys. If this has been a message of value to you and you know people who can benefit from it, please do share it with them. Just share them the link to this video and to the guide. Give that gift to them as well. And I hope that this just instills within you that if you do not heal your past, you will wound others' future. All right, that's super important. Now I'm going to check in with you guys. So drop me some comments. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. Any questions, comments, words of wisdom, anything that you'd like to contribute to the conversation. Can't wait to check in with you guys. But I've got Jeff in the house, and Angela and Sparky, being there and paying for it now. Gotcha, right? But you don't have to continue to pay for it, right? Continuing to pay for it is staying stuck in the cycle. But instead, what we want to do is we want to cut our losses now, right? We want to go, not going there anymore. What do I stand to gain if I change this pattern? If I end the perpetuation of the wounding, right? And you are in the driver's seat, but you can't access the driver's seat when you're stuck looking in the rear vision mirror, right? You've got to know how to go back in time into the past in the most empowering way, in the most resourceful way, so that you can heal from it, get beyond it, and now actually be in the driver's seat and directing your life. So love the honesty there, Sparky, and hope that this message has served you. And Guy is here, and Latroya, and Alps, and Laval. Good morning to you, my friend. And Graham's here, and Latroya. Yes, currently going through healing and doing shadow work, and it's made such a big difference. I love hearing that. Shadow work is so empowering. For those of you who want to know more about a really great framework with shadow work, I invite you to check out the Enneagram. I've got a bunch of different books. I actually just got this book yesterday. This is it here. It is What's Your Enneatype? And actually, I've just been flicking through it today. It's a really great introduction piece to understanding where your shadows reside, right? We've all got shadow work to do. And, it's just, we can fast track our success if we stand on the shoulders of those amazing individuals who have come before us, who have done the research. The Enneagram is a process and a framework that's thousands of years old, actually, and we've just built upon it, and it just points to what are your specific shadows. All right, so it's really, really key. So I love that you brought that to the conversation, LaTroya. And awesome, my heart is with you, my friend, on this really empowering journey of doing your own healing work. Thank you for being a role model. And Edgar is here, always sending love from Chihuahua, Mexico. And I'm sending much love right back at you, my friend. And LaTroya, thank you for your kind words. They're beautiful. And Bill's in the house, much love to you. And Harvey is here, awesome, from San Diego, California, great. And AJ's here as well, and Sophie, and Paul, and and Lynn, and Stephen, and Tina, and Tony, and George, and Judy, and Ione, and Ariane, and Henry, and Renee. Hello to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. And Kevin, love your messages. So grateful to hear that. Thank you for letting me know, Kevin. That touches my heart. And Renee, greetings from London. Hope you're doing well, my friend. And Flo's here as well. And Nafathi. And Anthony and Santasuk, good morning from Thailand. Awesome to have you here. And Graham, hi Vanessa, looking lovely. Surely it's difficult because you don't want your children to feel the pain that you did. How would you get around that? Love the question, Graham, and thank you for your kind words. So this is it, right? The way that you make sure that your children do not feel the pain that you felt. And in the end reality, like we can be the best intention, doing all the things that we think are right, and our children are individuals themselves. They're having their own subjective experience. So we can't actually control the experience that a child will have, but what we can do is make sure that we're not projecting our pain and our wounds onto their experience and living vicariously through them, even though we think we're not, right? Remember, there's a huge element of deception in this pattern and this process that I'm articulating for you guys today. So it takes some deep work to look into. But what I would say is take responsibility and start the process of healing from the past. That's going to allow you to see what patterns you could be projecting onto your children or the people closest to you. All right. And once you know your patterns from the past, you'll have the level of self-awareness to understand how you're recreating and be able to watch what you're doing and see the true intentions behind what you're doing. And through the foundation of awareness is the basis of transformation, right? That's where you get put in the driver's seat. This is the work that I do. So any of you guys who are a bit lost with this, I definitely invite you to make the most of the free 30-minute empowerment session that I'm doing with everybody who downloads the guide, that free guide on the 7 proven steps to maximize your self-belief. When you get to the end of that guide, there's a link there and you can book in your session. I've put some sessions there for 1 month, right? So it's just kind of first in, best dressed. If you get a session, you get a session. But please do make sure if you do book in the session, you're committed. Do not book in a session if you're not going to show up, right? Make sure that when you book in a session, you're going to show up, because once that session is off my calendar, nobody else can get it, all right? And so I have had it in the past where people haven't shown up, and that's cost other people the session they've been looking for that, all right? So this is a gift that I want to give to you guys to help fast track your success. And I really do believe, like, this is my mission, right? To help people heal from their past so they're not projecting the pain of their past on into the futures of the people that are closest to them and that they love, and actually have a foundational piece where they are creating their life from a place of authentic, aligned inspiration, not a projection from the past, trying to recreate something in the external to solve the problem that they can only solve from within. All right. So thank you for the question, Graham. I hope my response was of value to you. And Sam's here as well, and Rebecca and Andy, what is that? Anin Daya. Good to have you. And Edgar, thank you for this empowering message. Thank you for the guide, and so in time to give a great closing and release to 2020. Thank you so much for those kind words, Edgar. I'm super grateful that you find value in these messages and that you downloaded the guide and you found some value in that as well. And yeah, thank you for being such a co-creative part of our 2020 in these messages. You're so appreciated. And Grace is here as well. And Kai, good to see you. And Lisa, hi Vanessa, I caught you live. Yay. I love this message. I'm so honored to help people break generational patterns. Boom. I have young people I'm working with, and it's amazing how they are stepping up and healing while they are young. Lisa, I love the work that you do. You are such a beautiful soul. And, you know, I'm super grateful for those out there just like yourself who are committed to truly making an impact, a meaningful difference in the lives of others. And what a great opportunity that you have to get into the minds and the hearts of young people and make sure that they are empowering themselves and stopping those generational patterns of pain. I love that, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here and showing up. You're so beautiful. And Kai, awesome message as usual, Vanessa. I'm so grateful that this is of value to you, my friend. Good to see you. And Alexandra and Myra and Christina and Joe. I love your show. Joe, I'm grateful to hear that, my friend. Hope to see you back again soon. So that's my message for you guys today. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for showing up live today. You are so appreciated. Thank you for your comments, your questions, your words of wisdom, everything that you co-create this space with me here and do. You're so appreciated. And I really hope that this message really hit you in the heart. It's got you thinking about how could I take a deeper level of responsibility for the wounding of my past to make sure that I'm not unconsciously deceiving myself, you know, that I'm, you know, beyond it, right? And actually what's happening is I'm recreating and projecting wounding onto those that I love most. All right. So take me up on the free guide. I'll drop the link again if you guys didn't see it. Otherwise, just check out my latest post before this one. Download the guide. And for those of you who are really committed, at the end of it, on the final page, click on the link. You'll get a direct access to my calendar. I'm offering free 30-minute sessions for this month coming, where I'll get to work with you on an individual level to make sure that you are on the pathway to heal your past and create the kind of future that you're actually deserving of and impacting those that you love and care about in a truly loving way rather than unbeknownst to you projecting your own wounding from the past. All right. So hope that serves you. Look forward to meeting and connecting with a bunch of you. And last little comments here, Farah, good to see you, and Emma and Lisa, thank you for all your empowering messages. You are a gift to the world, Vanessa. Oh, I so appreciate your kind words there, beautiful soul, and right back at you. And Bill, thanks for the guide. You're so welcome, my friend. Grateful that you downloaded it and you're getting some value from that. So I can't wait to see you guys coming up very shortly. At the moment, as you guys are probably seeing, I'm just rolling with the lives every couple of days. So you know, I love if you guys let me know what pieces of my content are most valuable to you. Is it the videos? Is it my posts that I do? Is it guides that I put together for you guys? I love just, you know, my mission is here to serve and support you in the most meaningful, impactful way possible. All right. So that you can go about, you know, doing that thing that I remind you guys about every day, which is, you know, honoring your authenticity, you know, deepening your intimacy and contributing meaningfully and purposefully. Why do we want to do that? Because that's the ultimate pathway to creating and maximizing your fulfillment in life, right? And that's what you're here to do, right? So make sure that we are stocking our tool belt up with all the tools necessary, right? To break free of the past and create the future that we want. All right, it's been a pleasure. And Lisa, I love the videos. I'm grateful to hear that. Thank you for letting me know. And also, if you guys are willing to give me the feedback, how often would you like me to be doing these videos? I used to do them every single day. I'm not sure. I didn't want to overburden everybody like we're just showing up all the time. So I want to, I've just been trying to test and see what works for you guys, but I'd love your direct feedback. If you let me know how often you'd like to hear from me and in what format, like video or posting or guides or all that sort of stuff. And I'll look forward to hearing from you guys about that. And Edgar, you are doing an awesome work. Thank you so much, Edgar. I so appreciate you, my friend. I so appreciate all the sharing you do of my content. Really touches my heart every single day. So thank you, Edgar. I feel like you're kind of on my team. And Lisa, I'm excited about the guide you created. Awesome. Hope you enjoy it, my friend. And Henry, you never overburden. Oh, thank you for those kind words. I'm grateful to hear that. And Joe, great show. I love it. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to hear that, guys. If you do have anything that pops into mind now or later or any time down the track and you're like, oh, you could actually, I'd love if you were doing this or talking about this or anything. I'm so open to your suggestions. I am here for you guys. All right. So, and Bill, thank you so much, my friend. So that's my message for you. I've told you, my little reminders that I do each and every time. Hope this message served you. As I said, please do share it if it is of value. Make sure you download the guide that I just created for you, and I'll put the link below, as I said. And Graham, just the time difference is a slight problem with live videos. Love to catch them though. Yeah, I should probably mix it up a little bit because I am so random with these Facebook Lives that they could be happening at any time of the day, right? So yeah, maybe if I was to mix that up a little bit and so that, I might be able to catch you guys in the UK a little bit more. I know my timing is usually pretty off for the UK. So I appreciate your feedback there, Graham. Thank you so much for letting me know. Okay. That is it from me. Make sure you download your guide. Thank you again for showing up. So much love for each and every one of you guys, and I will see you very, very soon.